Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. We are getting ready to do some Plasti-Dip. Never done it before, isn't that right, Dave?
That's right, it's gonna look good.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
So we got everything masked off. I've watched 1,000 DYC videos. Either they're right or they're wrong.
So far, I think everything's been good.
I think so too.
I think everything's good.
Yeah.
Pretty pumped to see how it turns out. Looks like their product on their videos. See what happens. Confident. I think we got this down.
I think so too. Done a lot of steps. Been extra particular on our taping. Only Plasti-Dip I've ever done is just rattle can stuff. So this is gonna be quite an upgrade. So let's go show you what we're using. So we have Plasti-Dip base, came with the kit. And then we have our color down there in a Performance Series color. We got our naphtha thinner, all of our tape, pre-dip spray that we're gonna do now. I know that hood in the background looks good, but it doesn't fit the car. We're not using that, unfortunately.
It's supposed to fit the car, though.
It is supposed to fit the car, it just doesn't. We are going to pre-dip the car. Then we are going to mix our first base coat color, which is black. We're gonna black out the whole car, do every coat, waste both of these gallons like it says in the videos. Once those are gone, we're gonna move on to color. Hopefully this thing comes out looking good. The only way to know is to do it. We got our makeshift little booth here without a roof. Walk inside, you get the car. Everything's well and masked off. We got a little fan. Probably not ideal. We probably need something that moves a little bit more air, but at this point, I think we're gonna just rock with what we got. Let's get to it. Welcome back to the channel, guys. The time has finally come.
Started over. That was terrible.
I think it's insane that we have to be this close to the camera.
What are we talking about again?
Revealing the car. All right, guys, welcome back to the channel.
Okay, you gotta clarify all that before we start talking.
I'm sorry. Welcome back to the channel, guys. It has finally come. The time that all three of you have been waiting for has finally come.
It's here.
We have the car. We are going to reveal it to you.
It's a neon.
Plasti-Dip. It's the first time we ever did Plasti-Dip. It's a cool color. I like the color.
I do like the color.
Did it turn out okay? Did it turn out, I mean, it's the first one we've ever done. Let's just put it that way.
Let's do it.
Let's check it. All right, guys, so you see the car. Let us know what you think in the comments. How do you think we did, Dave?
I think it turned out really, really well for a neon.
For the first car we ever did, I think it turned out really well.
For a neon. Yeah, it turned out really well. First time I've ever messed with vinyls myself.
Our website is now live. You can go on there. We have some special items for the Hell Kitty. You can go on there, check them out. Want something, go ahead and order it, show us support, and get on there and check that out. Don't forget to like and subscribe and ring that bell. Anything else you want to add, Dave?
Looks good for a neon.
For the amount of time that we spent on this project, 4 weeks, buying a rough car that had 240,000 miles on it, that was really pretty much trash. I mean, really, you know, putting the money, the time, and the effort into it, and turning it into what it is right now, I don't think there's many people that would guess that it had 240,000 miles on it.
I wouldn't think so, no.
All in all, I think it was a cool project. It was fun. If y'all like this kind of stuff, where we take sort of older stuff and revamp them.
In their own right. And it's not a show car.
No, it's not a show car. It's not meant to be a show car. Maybe we will build one in the future.
Not a neon.
Something else. If you have any projects that you have an idea, put it down in the comments. We might pick it. Who knows? Thanks for watching. Right after this, you're going to see my tips about Plasti-Dip. It's a little long. It's about 5-6 minutes. But if you're thinking about doing Plasti-Dip on your own car, you may want to go through and just watch it, check it out, and just see some pointers that I noticed of being a first-time user of the product, and see what you think. So anyway, guys, we'll see you later. All right, guys, so on Plasti-Dip, I have some tips that I've discovered after the first time. One of the biggest things that I noticed, spend your time setting up your space and be extra particular about taping off your areas. The more time you spend there, the better the finished product will be. Before you even spray the first drop, I would recommend having somebody help you that's gonna manage the hose for you. Figured out where the hose needed to be. I had it over my shoulder and I held it on my hip here, and then I could move it up and down as I went in and out. I didn't have any Plasti-Dip in the gun. We went around exactly my strategy of how I was gonna spray the car. Went over that 2 times around the whole car, giving me practice. If you've never done it before, it doesn't hurt to go trace over the car and try to figure out what you wanna do and how you wanna do it. There's some things that I would do different. Number one, I probably would have removed my headlights and taillights instead of taping them off. Inside the doors, we have basically a weather stripping seal that goes all the way around the door jams. We should have removed those and just taped underneath there and then peeled the tape underneath. While you're working with the product, don't feel like you have to be in a rush. Go ahead and take your time, be extra particular. Every time you are filling up the cup, go ahead and wipe that top out, wipe your threads off, wipe the cup out really good on the top. So when you're cleaning the gun in between coats, it's very important to go ahead and disassemble this part of the gun. Go ahead and screw this cap off. All right, and go ahead and clean that cap, clean this little air nozzle. Go ahead and pull this thing out and clean this out and clean all that out. Go ahead and pull this tip out. Look in there for any like built up product you may want to get out of there. And when you put this back in, very important, you can actually see this one's a little off. So make sure it's in there nice and flush. And I don't know if you can see that. See, that's a little high in this corner here. So, and he talks about this in his videos. Make sure you pull that down. Now, I was just using my hand and I was able to do it. But do remember, this little gray piece is loose in here. So you want to make sure that thing is in there solid. That way it's not loose and you're just adjusting something in the wrong way. When you get everything put back together and you're going to spray your next coat, before you spray, go ahead and do a test spray every time you start another coat. We test sprayed, made sure our pattern was good, and we had one issue where it was spraying really heavy on the top and we were getting sort of like a teardrop and it was really heavy on top. That's when we said, okay, don't spray, come back, disassemble the gun, clean that area. That little tip I was talking about just now was a little off, and that's why we were getting a heavy spot on top. And if I would have sprayed like that, I could have ruined the whole thing. Also on the first coat, right on the front, there's a little air dam where the intercooler sits, and I was trying to be real articulate and trying to hit every little spot. And what I was doing is I was building up the product too thick, and I caused about 3 or 4 runs. What I did to fix it, probably about 20 minutes in, so everything was relatively dry. I took a little microfiber towel, dipped it in the thinner, and went to my run areas, and I just feathered those out. Just take sort of little high spots out and feather them back, just so they're nice and smooth. You won't see any dips in the Plasti-Dip when you spray your next coat. And then we went ahead and sprayed again, and I knew not to spend too much time on that area. Just go ahead and build up the coats as we go. That's the key to it. You don't want to spray too heavy, too quick. Let the product do its thing. Let it build up slowly. When you're untaping,
It's very important to go ahead and get an X-Acto knife or a razor blade or something of that nature. And if you do see some bridging, go ahead and just give it a little cut. So that way when you pull the tape, you're not getting any of the Plasti-Dip. We had a couple areas that weren't really that bad, but one of them that was under the mirror on the driver's side wasn't looking, and I pulled it away from the mirror and I got a little rip. It wasn't really that noticeable. So what I did was I took the Plasti-Dip, the color that we used, I mixed it up in the gallon. I took a little bit out into a little cup, and I took a paintbrush, I dipped it, and I sort of just wetted that area and laid it all back down and sort of just painted that little area. If you do get some little imperfections or you pull the tape a little too fast, you have a little bit of a mistake, know that you can repair it. I'm not going to say it's going to look exactly like when you sprayed it, but you can repair it. You can take a little brush, mix it up really good so you get the same color effect, and then just sort of dab it in there, and it's got some reducer in there, so it's going to loosen that Plasti-Dip up and it's going to lay it back down. Do I like Plasti-Dip? Well, I think it's a pretty cool product. I think it works. It does take some time. It takes some time. It takes some effort. It's not something that, oh, I'm just going to throw this on in a couple hours and be done. It's not really like that. All in all, I think it's a great product. I think they did a hell of a job with the stuff. Anybody that wants to try it, I say go for it. Just know, take your time, be particular on every step. Don't try to skip anything. If you're gonna spend this much time doing anything, it doesn't really matter what it is, why not spend the extra time to do it right? That way you're not having to go fix stuff at the end. So anyways, guys, we will see you next time.